Hello and welcome back to Hogwarts Legacy and the good playthrough. So I made the decision after some consultation with a couple of subscribers that I'm going to just do a commentary to this, and they've also said they'd like to see some side quests done as well because they would like to see them done. So it's not going to be 100% playthrough as such, but what they want is to see basically me complete the field guide so that at the end of it, when we come to do the WLs, that it's 100% complete. So what I will say is that a lot of things have changed since the game came back out last year in 2023. So there's been new dialogue, there's been some things added that so things that have been subtly put in there that you wouldn't have noticed. Anyway, let's get on with this. Let's speak to Professor Fig. So should apologize for the first episode as well while I'm at it. I'm really sorry on how that came out. As I explained in the description when I re-uploaded it, essentially I had been working that day. I was extremely tired when I was editing it and I fell asleep during the process, so I hadn't realized what I was doing until it was uploaded, and it was pointed out to me by a cousin of mine that something wasn't quite right. So anyway, let's get to this playthrough, and let's hope you enjoyed the good playthrough that I'm about to do. So what I probably should also explain is I probably will not do all the Merlin trials, because obviously I've achieved the Platinum Trophy already in the Evil mode playthrough. So anyway, let's talk to Professor Fig and let's crack on.
It's good to see you, Professor.
And you. I was hoping our paths would cross today before you immersed yourself in studies. Did I hear you and Professor Weasley talking about exploring ruins?
Well, so one of the things I have noticed is that sometimes when you respond to something, they have changed some of the responses as well. So if you're playing this game anew, do not be afraid to respond to something slightly different to get a different dialogue.
She caught me off guard. I didn't tell her anything else about our travels here. I will say, I think she suspects we're not being entirely forthcoming.
Yes, well, Professor Weasley is a brilliant and astute witch. It was right to keep the details to yourself for now. We don't know where this path we've embarked upon will lead. It may require a bit more flexibility with your time than she would approve of. And she may feel obliged to share details with the headmaster that would be better left between us.
Understood, Professor.
Good. Now, as capable as you are, I believe the ability you possess obliges you to be well trained. Happily, you have the benefit of an exceptionally skilled team of witches and wizards to guide you. Speaking of guides, and so that I may avoid another not-so-subtle reproof from Professor Weasley, why don't I show you the clever enchantment we included in the field guide's map? Unfold it and have a look.
So one of the things I thought about is because when he says, let me show you the clever tracking, the compass thing that they've added to this, what I didn't quite get is why Professor Fig just doesn't give you the field guide beforehand and then, explain it along the way, because it would have been nice to have had a bit of that record of you visiting the ruins of Professor Rackham. So right, so I always I've racked up over 700 hours of this game.
Enchanted to help you find your way.
This will be incredibly helpful. Thank you.
Now, sounds like you've quite a day ahead, what with classes and a trip to Hogsmeade for supplies, including your own wand. You'll enjoy Mr. Ollivander. He's an exceptional craftsman and a good friend. I shall reach out when I have more information about our mysterious locket. For now, focus on your classes and pay attention. More than your owls may hinge on the magic you are able to master within these walls.
Right, so obviously the Cast Charms Compass, that's what it's called. So,
Being a headmaster is hated as black. Dubious honor indeed.
How much longer do you think Black will be headmaster?
speak to
It cannot
Lena.
possibly be as difficult as it seems.
Hello. I don't believe we've met.
Oh, hello. I'm Lenora. Pardon me if I seem a little distracted at the moment. Everyone thinks I'm utterly balmy. Samantha thinks I'm potty. But it's this painting. I never noticed it before. If I know Hogwarts, and I do, an empty frame doesn't appear for no reason. There's something more to this.
Have you gained any insights about the painting since you've been studying it?
I did discover that casting Lumos has an effect of some kind. But I'm not sure what to do next.
Are there any other empty paintings like this around the school?
Yes, a few. This entire place is somewhat of a riddle, to be honest. If I can work out the riddle of this one, I'll know what to do with all of them. As good a place as any to begin.
If I have the time, I may look. Could be intriguing.
I've been racking my brains long enough. I hope you'll have better luck than I have. Do come and find me if you stumble on something illuminating that solves the mystery.
Right, so as I was about to say, is what I do is I have backed up over 700+ hours of this game, and one thing I've learned to do is go to Charms first. And
Off on another adventure, are we?
now, they did actually stop her talking to you at some point, but I've noticed that she seems to talk a lot more since the
Revelio.
June update, where they've added photo mode. Right, I actually forgot to do the Lumos. Right, so we'll have a look at the gear soon.
Revelio. Lumos. That spot must be a clue. I should look around in case it's nearby.
So what I've noticed as well
Let's get you
is
back to your frame,
oh well.
Moth.
Well, for one thing, I've noticed that was where they just automatically come to you now.
I knew there was a connection. I should tell Lenora that I solved the puzzle of that empty frame.
Raven runs in my family. I've never even cried.
Lenora, I solved the mystery of that painting.
You did? How?
I found the location depicted in the painting, and then I cast Lumos to guide a moth back to the frame.
All very logical, I suppose. Pity I was so close to solving it. You have a knack for solving riddles. Natty's good at that too. So is Mead, although he does tend to over-explain. Well, I'm glad someone figured it out. The moth! I should have seen that.
Right, okay. So what we'll do is we'll have a quick look in here. So obviously we've got, so everything we've got now is just what you would normally get as a first year. And what I would actually point out is that technically we did kind of go to Diagon Alley because we went to Gringotts in the beginning of the game. So it's something that some people have mentioned, oh, we don't get to go to Diagon Alley. But technically you do, because you actually go to, as I say, Gringotts. So I don't understand why we get the prefect vest uniform. I don't know if that's because Professor Weasley thinks that we're a good prefect, and it gives us a good excuse to be able to run around without any repercussions. So one of the things that you could probably notice here is, other than the change the appearance, you can actually, if you press triangle, put the hood up. So right, so glasses. So obviously these are the fixed version of the Harry Potter glasses, but they recently added the taped ones. So they did call them the Harry Potter glasses or something along those lines originally, and then they changed it to circular taped spectacles. So and also we did, for those who, like myself, who missed the Twitch stream where you got the Professor Ronan or Charms outfit, I actually managed to get that, or it was added at a later date. So I'm not going to wear glasses, not for the moment anyway. So let's actually think about it. Let's make our way to Charms class. Right, so obviously there is more than one way to get to Charms, so other than going via the long way with Professor Fig, you can just go this way. Right, so there's certain things I will be doing slightly different this time round.
Revelio.
Okay, so I'm not going to dwindle on these pages, but if you want to read them, you can just pause. I never understand why they didn't do a field guide page for Wendelin the Weird. Obviously they do a chocolate frog card for her at a later date when they introduce them.
Handy resource indeed, your field guide. I'm most pleased to be included.
Lumos.
So doing this, is a big help, because you can trigger the Flue Flame by Professor Fig's classroom, which is this way. So, as if anybody actually watched the first recording I did of this, the re-edited upload that I'd done, oh, it's ominous. Yeah, so basically, obviously because they're all on their way up to Charms, that's where I'm going. But anyway, yes, so in that I explain relationships, I actually give myself a bit of a backstory to the character of Phoenix here.
I heard some chatting in the girls' lavatory about boom slates. Do you think they're looking to brew
None of us
potion?
don't necessarily want him to get back to the lesson.
And Sharp's actually that Hufflepuff girl.
So Samantha Dale's
One should be glad rags.
meant to be talking to Leander Pruitt, but he's not standing there.
I'm saving up for a new broom. Reckon I'll be going for the U-Weaver, or possibly a Silver Arrow. I'll be weak since...
Okay, let's... If he's... Well, I won't.
Here. Behind you. There is an open seat here.
Thank you.
Hello, I am Natty. So you are the new student. Have you met Professor Ronan yet?
Shall we begin? Welcome to Year 5 of Charms. Now, this will be a crucial year in your education on the art of charm work, but I am confident.
I don't know what happened just then, but I'll assume it's magic.
Requisite of such a challenge. Right, now, everyone, please open your textbooks to page 517. But before we begin, can anyone here tell me the difference between the incantations of the color change and growth charms? Anyone? Anyone? I am afraid it is too late to study now. My, the summer months must have really taken a toll on you all. By the looks of it, you all spent your holidays practicing Obliviate on one another. Do you even remember how to perform a basic summoning charm? Well, it seems that we are in dire need of review. Everyone get into pairs and take positions on opposite sides of the classroom. Now let's put those textbooks to use as the blunt objects you so believe they are, and take turns summoning them out of one another's hands. Only one book will be needed per partnership, Miss Dale. Thank you. Get into place now.
So the thing I find about Professor Ronan here is that he doesn't acknowledge that you're a new student. He has basically kind of expected you to have learnt these charms already.
That is not bad.
You are a swift learner. I see a lot of potential, but remember, potential is nothing without practice. Keep at it. You might just rival Miss Onui here. Very good, everyone. That's enough of that. Well, as you all seem to have the basics down, and it is an exceptionally lovely day, I was thinking that we might have ourselves a little excursion outside for a spot of fresh air. After me. I've always found that fun goes hand in hand with mastery, as I'm sure the Quidditch players amongst us would agree. So, what better than a bit of sport to put our prowess with the summoning charm to the test, right? So why don't we have our newest student start us off? Very simply, cast Accio on one of the spheres and relinquish your charm at the last possible moment. Now, think of this like gobstones, if you will, but instead of throwing the marbles out, you are summoning them toward you. The trick is to pull the sphere as far as possible, but that's it!
Right, I'm going to admit that I'm not a big fan of this actual game. In fact, I'd rather they'd actually done more side quests with the cross wands than this.
Excellent control there. Very good. Points to Ravenclaw. But there's certainly no sport in playing without some friendly competition. Miss Onui, would you care to give our new student a bit of a challenge? Come on up. You'll be the blues, just as before, and Miss Onui, you are playing red. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Be interesting to go over to those people flying the kites there and see if they're actually wearing robes to the actual houses that they've got the kites for. Oh, sorry, excuse me.
Do not think I will start going easy on you now.
Right, I'm so sorry about that. I've had a cough that I just really cannot budge.
Accio.
I will get you back for that. Let us see this.
So there's a bit of new dialogue there. Oh, sorry, Natty.
Ouch! Well played.
Yep. So, as I say, that is new dialogue there. Something that she's not said in any of the other playthroughs that I've ever done, so...
A perfect score. Remarkable. Let us make this a bit more interesting, shall we?
I think we are well past interesting at this point.
I'll say.
Enough chatter. Focus now. You will need it. This round settles it all.
Here we go! Yes!
Accio.
I'll be a little bit fairer to this time.
That's it.
Let us see this. That is how it's done.
Okay, so she's just gone slightly out in my way there. Not a problem.
Nicely done. Watch this. Phew.
Right, so I like to try and get these on the... I always tend to slow it down in the orange bit.
2 perfect rounds. You're a natural. Very good, both of you. Well done. Class is dismissed. Gather your things on the way out.
Good game back there. I must admit, I think I underestimated you. Took me weeks to become proficient with Accio. Took weeks for me to get anything right when I transferred here. It gets easier, I promise.
That's good to hear. It's a lot to take in all at once.
To put it lightly, I remember how I felt when I first arrived. I transferred here from Ouagadougou just before my 4th year. My mother received an offer to teach divination here. Before I knew it, we had left Uganda and were halfway around the world at a new school in a new country.
Is Wagadu much bigger than Hogwarts?
Wagadu School of Magic is the largest wizarding school in the world. So yes, bigger than Hogwarts. But it never seemed intimidating or overwhelming to me. It always felt like home.
Bit like they say if you go to Hogwarts, and probably for the other visiting schools actually.
Is Wagadu a castle, like Hogwarts?
Its address is Mountains of the Moon. It is not so much a castle as a beautiful edifice carved out of the mountainside. I remember the first time I saw it, the mist was so thick I could hardly make out anything at all. And then it just materialized before me, this enormous school that seemed to be floating in midair.
This may seem an odd question, but is magic the same there as it is here?
Mostly, yes. But I did have to learn how to use a wand when I arrived here. Hardly anyone at Wagadu uses one.
You can cast spells without a wand?
Oh, yes. I find wandless magic to be much more instinctive. Not to mention quite convenient if one is without their wand. I must admit, however, that I am growing quite fond of using a wand. It seems very dramatic.
It's nice to learn about another wizarding school.
Thank you for asking. I do miss Wagadu, but I am glad to be here at Hogwarts. Ah, I think Professor Ronan wants to talk to you. Better not keep him waiting. Until next time.
Of course, you can use Accio on humans, if you're so inclined.
Well, you'd be using it on clothing, to be precise, Sebastian. You know it won't work on...
After my brother learned the summoning charm, it was constant Accio this, Accio that, cutlery flying everywhere. Quite unsafe, really.
I love these little interactions with some of the students. It gives you a little bit of a background to them.
Professor Ronan reminds me of my grandfather. Loads of wisdom, but a bit mad.
You wanted to speak with me, Professor?
I did. I trust your first charms lesson lived up to expectation?
Well, an outdoor competition wasn't exactly the lesson I was expecting, sir.
What charm is there in the expected? You did well, managing to best as gifted a student as Miss Onui.
Thank you, Professor. I enjoyed the match.
Miss Onui is always a fierce competitor, though I sense that she is a bit distracted of late. Now, Professor Weasley has asked that your professors give you instruction outside of the ordinary curriculum. Expect to hear from me soon regarding a special assignment that I am preparing for you.
Right, so we've done that one, so it's just defense against the dark arts class to do now. Yeah, so I think it's interesting when you get the those little interactions with some of the students, because as I say, it gives you a little bit of a backstory to them. The one thing that I'm hoping that they will look at is, because the one thing I did notice when playing this is that you, obviously at the beginning of the game, you're able to use your hand instinctively to interact with the ancient magic. So that shows that you already have an ability to use wandless magic already. So I hope this is something that, you know, where now that it's officially confirmed that Hogwarts Legacy 2 is going to be coming, that they will get you to learn more about in the next one. Maybe with perhaps Natty or her mum, Professor Onui, on how, you know, you can use your ability to use wandless magic a bit more. So I think that would be interesting.
Hello.
How's your first day coming along?
Hello, Samantha. Nice to see you again.
I wondered how your first day was going. You certainly seem to hold your own in charms.
I've been fortunate. Beginner's luck.
My brother William would tell you not to be so humble and to trust your abilities. Then again, he tends to be overconfident in his. Well, better see to my charms homework. I'm afraid I can't count on beginner's luck to impress Professor Ronan.
So what I was able to gather is that Natty is actually really good at the Summoner's Court. But unlike Natty, we have the ability to use ancient magic, so we have a bit more. So your character basically has a bit more advantage. Right, so I'm going to just go in here because this is where we actually learn about or discover when Professor Black discovers about us. So, Professor Fig, as if my schedule wasn't congested enough, the Ministry has charged me with arranging a rather inconvenient arrival of a new student at Hogwarts, a 5th year if you can believe. Professor Weasley insists that they will need an escort and a mentor to help them acclimate. I think that's meant to be acclimatise before term begins. I have assigned the task to you. Please see Professor Weasley for details. Professor Phineas Nigellus Black, Headmaster. So I think it becomes pretty obvious to a degree that Professor Black doesn't like Professor Fig very much. I don't certainly get the impression that he likes some of the professors there, but ones like obviously Professor Weasley can certainly hold her own. Right, so let's so this is going to continue to show up until I get my wand. And this is where all the notes go if you want to reread them. Oh, I meant to... I don't actually need to do this because I do know exactly where I'm going, but I want to do this from the perspective that you might be somebody that hasn't played this game yet as well, and you would like to know how it's done. I mean, there are plenty, you know, I've got my evil mode playthrough out there. Right, now I never understand why the compass tells you to go this way to defense against dark arts when you can just cut around here and you're actually on the level. If you'd gone that way, it would have taken you around and up these stairs that are here. Right, so this is the class that I actually enjoy the most so far.
Is that all you've got?
Levioso!
Professor Hecat!
Perhaps you'd be good enough to blast each other to pieces in your own time. I get new students every year, but I only have one Hebridean black skull. It was a token from the Great Poacher Raid of 1878. No doubt you've heard of it. Now, you may be asking yourself how an old woman like me single-handedly took out the largest poacher ring in eastern Wales and lived to boast about it. Knowledge. To the wise, age matters very little. Today we will review a spell that has saved me from death at the hands of dark wizards more times than I care to remember. Levioso.
Levioso? A levitation charm?
Levioso! A surprised opponent is a weak opponent. Care to defend yourself, Master Pruitt? No? One thing I've learned as an unspeakable is the value of simplicity, especially in the heat of battle. Now, let's practice what we've just learned, starting with something small.
you're actually quite lucky, really, that Professor Hackett is not one of those professors that would put him in detention for back answering like that.
Levioso.
Now, let's try something a little larger. Let us begin with the basic cast. See how the dummy deflected your cast? This time, cast Levioso first, then the basic cast. Remember, a surprised opponent is a weak opponent. Levioso! So, now, the basic cast. Well done. Very good, but the best way to practice is by dueling. We'll start with you two. Duelists, take your marks.
Time for a proper Hogwarts welcome.
Now, I want a fair duel, using only Levioso, basic cast, and Protego. You may begin.
This should be easy.
Protego. Stupid tiger.
Complicates things. This can't be your first duel.
Let's just say.
I do enjoy lively duels. Watch your opponent's time to attack or defend yourself.
Protego. Stupid.
Try to anticipate your opponent's next move.
Not bad for a beginner. You give as good as you get.
I put you on the spot, and you rose to the challenge. Points to Ravenclaw.
Thank you, Professor Hackett. Glad to have the opportunity to practice.
If what I've seen today is any indication, we can expect great things from you. I demand excellence from my students. They are capable of achieving it, and they must achieve it. A classroom duel is one thing, but battling dark wizards, or as ever more likely, goblins, is a different kettle of Grindylows entirely.
Understood, Professor.
So, I'd advise you to keep practicing whenever you can. Perhaps Mr. Sallow will have some ideas for you. Again, well done today. I shall reach out soon with additional assignments.
So that little conversation...
That's enough spectacle for one day. Class is dismissed.
So that little information that she said about the goblins and that being a different kettle of Grindylows, I should say, is the first kind of indication. Oh, this is different. Arthur and that are talking is... Wow. Normally it's Imelda and...
If you know the right spells, it's dark wizards that'll fear you, not the other way around. Oh, I'm not much for dueling. I prefer to keep things friendly.
So I'm noticing changes in this playthrough already.
Huh. Always thought Levioso was for first years. Not anymore.
You dueled Sebastian. He's strong competition. Well done.
So normally Arthur's over here and Imelda is talking to Everett.
I'd hate to face Professor Hackett in a duel.
Interesting. So I'm noticing some changes in this already. So they are subtly making changes And so this is why I've been enjoying doing a lot of the playthroughs, because you notice these little changes just so well. But as I was about to say, the comment she makes about the goblins and dark wizards and that is a hint that she knows about already what's going on from Professor Fig. And the reason I know that she says that she has a clue about that is because of communications that we'll later find in the game.
I enjoyed that.
Well, that duel was quite something. Everyone will be talking about it.
It was certainly good practice.
Practice? It felt more like I was dueling an expert. Sebastian Sallow, by the way. Didn't expect a new student to be so deft with a wand. Then again, perhaps this wasn't your first duel.
Right. Last time... Oh, let's go with that one.
Enough. Consider yourself lucky I held back.
Huh, fair enough. You owe me an honest duel when you aren't. You know, you might be a perfect fit for a certain exclusive, unsanctioned dueling organization.
Unsanctioned? I don't know. School rules are in place for a reason.
Yes, to keep students in the dark. So many things we're deemed unprepared to know. If you want to get the most out of your time at Hogwarts, you're going to need to break the rules now and then. Whether it's joining a secret dueling club, or sneaking into the restricted section of the library, you just have to be clever enough not to get caught.
Thank you, Sebastian. I'll keep that in mind.
Good. Pleasure chatting with you. I'm sure I'll see you soon. Perhaps somewhere unsanctioned? We'll see if your performance today was sheer luck, or actual skill. Look for Lucan Brattleby near the clock tower entrance, if you're interested. Till next time.
So what we'll do is we'll go to Cross Wands, and then in the next episode we'll go to Hogsmeade. So we'll obviously get a message. You know, as I say, we should get a message to go to the Transfiguration classroom. So as I say, we'll do that in the next episode. So I'm loving this playthrough so far already, because I'm noticing some differences in some of the interactions between the students and some of the things that they're saying as well.
Revelio.
Right.
Here I've come from the toilet bowl where she said I could swim, did you praxia mole? As long as 'twere only 1 time per week, I can plunge the boy's lavatory, not for the meek.
These peas will make me late.
He tried to stop me, did rancorous carp, sought to trap me, confine me inside of a jar. But he failed, as did his containment charms, so I took my revenge to wreak havoc and harm. It was granted my privileges be handsome indeed, or I'd fire up the cannon, and so she agreed. To draw up a contract with her, not with him, that if I behaved, I'd have 1 weekly swim! Whee!
I'll get you for this.
Right, so normally I wouldn't bother to I mean, you just left your books there. Just deliberately brushed past me. Right, so this is new as well, because normally there's no students sitting there.
Revelio.
Right, so let's go and do the cross wands.
Glad you could make it. Lucan's just over there.
Leviosa!
Right, so one thing I would say, because I've noticed other gamers, when they've done this, is they've when trying to figure out what they need to do for a particular puzzle, they don't bother to try all the spells. So what I would just advise you to do if you're playing this for the first time and you're, just try all the spells out, because that way you're going to find out exactly what each puzzle will tell you, basically. So let's say hello to Lucan Brattleby. Now, I believe he is a 5th year, but to look at him, you think he was a 1st year.
Sebastian told me to see you about a club.
If Sebastian vouches for you, that's all I need to know. I coordinate duels for crossed wands. A dueling club of sorts. It's invitation only, so you must have really impressed Sebastian.
I seem to have a knack for dueling.
Then you've come to the right place.
How does cross wands work exactly?
You show up, I match you with other duelists, and whoever is still standing in the end wins. It's our way of determining the school's greatest duelist once and for all. And to liven things up, the winner is awarded a prize. Interested?
Of course. Dueling's an entertaining pastime.
I agree. Besides, in crossed ones, you could duel with a partner if you like. Your first time I'll pair you with Sebastian. Next time, you'll need to bring a partner along, or duel alone. So, care to step into the ring?
Get me in the ring.
Spectacular! Let the fireworks begin!
We'll make you regret signing up.
You're better than that!
Nice work. Sebastian wasn't wrong about you. There's strong competition ahead, but keep this up and you could be the next school champion.
Brilliant. Count me in.
I shall. Now, it takes time to organise these duels, but check with me later. I may have something lined up for you. Again, congratulations on your first crossed wands victory. Well fought. Hope to see you back here again.
Right, so this chap here, this is a Gryffindor wizard called Hector Jenkins, and it was said that he originally was going to be called Hector Weasley. I don't know for the reason why they changed that. They never stated. But it's a shame. It would have been nice to have had more than one Weasley. Well, other than Professor Weasley and Gareth, but...
Just wait till I've grown a bit, then we'll see how well you do.
I feel sorry for your next opponent.
Why do I get the impression that she's going to turn out to be a dark witch? I don't know if it's the way she's talking or what, but... Anyway, I'm going to run around this bit quickly, just picking up a couple of bits. But I'll be right back pretty soon with another episode. So, until then, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye for now, and enjoy the rest of your week.